Hi, Year 6. This is Chapter 4 of Pig Heart Boy. This chapter is called Dr. Bright. Tonight. Tonight? And you didn't think to tell us before now? Mum's body was rigid with rage. I didn't know myself until about 2 hours ago. Dr. Bryce phoned me at work and asked if he could come and see us this evening. What was I supposed to do? Say no? You were supposed to talk to me and Cameron first. Mum's voice was getting quieter and quieter. She stared at Dad, and at that moment, almost like she'd hated him. I turned away. I couldn't bear to watch. I just told you I couldn't say anything until I knew Dr. Bryce would come and see Cameron and then take his case. I didn't know it until a couple of hours ago. If I'd said something beforehand, well, you just would have been upset for no reason. So you knew I'd be upset. Mum's eyes narrowed, her voice chilled, almost like liquid nitrogen. Well, I thought you might, until you had a chance to calm down and really think about it. Don't patronise me, Mike, Mum snapped. Look, Dr. Bryce will be here soon, and if we don't show up or present a united front, then we can forget about it. Dad snapped back. He's hardly going to take our case further if you're glaring at him, sitting there making it obvious you're against the whole idea. Then I'll just sit here with a blank expression on my face, and I won't say a word. Happy now? Oh, if you two are going to argue, can you go downstairs? I sighed. I came up here to get away from you two. Mum frowned. Cameron, that's enough. Don't be so cheeky. I'm not being cheeky, I replied, bitterness spilling out from my voice. I'm just tired. Tired of you two fighting over me all the time. Tired of dreading coming home to listen to yet another argument or quarrel. Tired of being piggy in the middle. My voice trailed off as I realised what I just said. Piggy in the middle. Well, I couldn't help it. I started to laugh, and Dad's lips twitched too. Mum looked wry as if she was just about to start to laugh, but she didn't. She couldn't. Not now. But me and Dad, we were laughing. Loud, raucous laughter. Unexpected and all the more welcome because of it. And then I burst into tears. It was hard to say who was more shocked, Mum, Dad, or me. Mortified, I tried to stop. I tried to choke back the tears, but it just made it worse. I gulped hard and tried to take a deep breath, but the tears, they just kept flowing. They ran down my cheeks, under my nose, and into my mouth, salty and unwelcome. I wiped my face quickly with the back of my hands, wishing the bed would just open me up and swallow me up. Cameron, darling, what's the matter? Mum had flown across the room in a moment. Cameron, don't cry, Dad said, anguished. Look, I didn't mean to upset you. If you don't want to meet this doctor, then you don't have to. I wouldn't force you to do anything you didn't want to do. No, I want to meet him, I stammered. What's the matter then, Cam? Why are you crying? Mum asked. Her arm was around my shoulders now. I shook my head, but I didn't speak. How could I answer, though? What was I supposed to say when, for the life of me, I actually had no idea why I was crying? Cam? Mum got no further. At that moment, the doorbell rang, and we all sat up straight. Dad said, Dr. Bryce. Cameron, are you sure now that you want to see him? Because if you don't, I'll send him away. It's okay, I'm all right now. I shrugged Mum's arm away. Look, I'll go and wash my face and I'll see you downstairs. Is that okay? Without giving my parents even a chance to say another word, I stood up and ran across to the bathroom. Once there, I locked the door. I needed a few seconds of peace. I still had no idea what had made me blub like that. I couldn't remember the last time I cried. Where did that come from? You're feeling sorry for yourself, I scowled at my reflection in the mirror above the basin. Now stop it. Stop it now. I turned the cold tap on and allowed the water to run colder and colder into the basin, pulling the plunger to set the plug. I waited until the water was almost at the top, then I plunged my face deep into it. Instantly my skin began to tingle. I opened my eyes and reluctantly straightened up. That was better. It was just a shame I couldn't stay longer with my head underneath the water. So I emptied the sink, then sat down on the edge of the bath. As I dried my face, my thoughts turned now to Dr. Bryce. Something told me that when I met this man, my life would definitely change, one way or the other, for better or worse. And all I had to do was go downstairs. Or I could just call out to Dad and tell him that I didn't want to meet him, and then it would be the end of it. Life would go on as normal. Yes, I'd be dead by the time my 14th birthday came. Or I could go downstairs, into the unknown, and take it from there. I took a deep breath and headed downstairs. I scrutinised Dr. Bryce and made no attempt to hide it when I saw him first. But unlike most grown-ups, Dr. Bryce didn't look annoyed or even try and give a false smile. Instead, he just met my gaze unwaveringly. I'm sorry if you seem a bit preoccupied, Dad glanced at Mum. It's been a hell of a day. Oh, please don't apologise, Dr. Bryce waved Dad's apology aside. I should have given you more notice that I was coming, but you see I have to be very careful, as I'm sure you understand. Dad nodded sagely. Mum gave a kind of closed-mouth acknowledgement of Dr. Bryce's words. Why do you have to be careful? I added bluntly. Mum and Dad might know, but I certainly didn't, and I was fed up with everybody talking around me, and past me, and through me, as if I was dead already. But I wasn't. No, I wasn't. Well, Cameron, we've been trying to solve the problem of lack of human organs available for donation for some years now. Dr. Bryce spoke directly to me, and his tone was earnest. Some doctors are developing mechanical or robotic hearts. Some are working on ways to prolong the life of an already defective heart. However, my team have tried a different approach. Pig hearts, I supplied quickly. Yes, pig hearts, the doctor nodded. But a number of animal rights and animal welfare groups just don't agree with what we're doing. Why? I cut in again. Well, they feel that we shouldn't be experimenting on animals. They believe it's wrong to sacrifice pigs and all other animals we use in our research just to help humans. But you obviously don't believe that, I stated. Dr. Bright shook his head. Nope, I eat meat. I see nothing wrong with using animals in medical research, as long as it's done in a humane way, though. We're not cruel to our animals at all. That's a matter of definition, isn't it? Mum chipped in. Kathy, I really don't think... Mum interrupted Dad again. Mike, I'm only asking. Would you rather I didn't, dear? I winced. They were at it again. Dr. Bryce frowned. I'm not quite sure what you mean, Mrs. Kelsey. Could you explain? Well, you say you're not cruel to animals, but you breed them, yes, specifically for the purpose of killing them and using their insides to help humans. Now, some would call that cruel. Do you? He asked Mum straightly. I didn't say me, Mum shook her head. I just said some. Chickens, pigs, cows and sheep are bred all over the world for the sole purpose of being killed to feed this human race. We're talking about domestic animals here. And is it any worse to breed them to save or extend a human life? Should they be bred for food, just food alone? I guess it's a matter of definition, but believe me, I can sleep at night. And I have no trouble looking in the mirror either, said Dr. Bryce. Do the animal rights people write you lots of letters then, I asked. Well, some do, and I don't mind that. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion, and I totally respect that, Dr. Bryce licked his lips then before continuing. I don't want to alarm you here, but you should know a little of what you're letting yourselves in for. You see, my house has been firebombed twice. We've had feces thrown through our letterbox more times than I can remember, and my house has also been flooded when one group put a hose pipe through my front door and turned it on. We've had to move 3 times, and as a consequence, everybody involved in my project tends to guard their privacy like a very fierce secret. Is that why you didn't let us know you were coming until the last minute? Mum asked. Dr. Bryce nodded quickly. And that's why it's crucial that if you do go ahead with this, if you are going to be part of it, no one says a word to anyone about the nature of the transplant you're getting. I wouldn't want to go through all these things and put them onto you as well. But why do you still carry on then? I asked straight away. Why don't you just give up and do something far less controversial? He's dedicated, Dad tried to chip in and laugh off my comment. I frowned at my dad at that point. What was the matter? Was Dad afraid that Dr. Bryce might quit right there and then and leave us alone? I can't quit. It's what I've been born to do, he chipped in, replying though directly to me. You see, Cameron, I'm one of the lucky ones. I found the one thing that makes their life complete. To me, it's what I'm doing. I couldn't do anything else, even if I wanted to be honest. And besides, it's the only good thing I'm really good at. Dr. Bryce's tone was intense. His steely grey eyes focused on me without even a single blink. I couldn't help feeling that the doctor was trying to tell me something, but I had no idea what, of course. It was as if there was something else, something deeper, hidden, a meaning to the doctor's words which was out my grasp at this point in time. So how does it all work then? I asked at last. Dr. Bryce then leaned forward, eager to explain. The major problem with xenotransplantation... At my blank look, he explained. Sorry, that's what we call it when you take organs from one species and transplant them into a body of an animal from another species. Anyway, The major problem with xenotransplantation is the risk of infection. Our bodies are very good at recognising anything that isn't natural or part of us, including transplanted organs, and getting rid of it. So we have to try and think of a way to trick human bodies into believing that the transplanted organs from other animals really do belong in the body. Several years ago, we introduced fragments of human DNA to some pig embryos and implanted them into a sow. When the sow's litter was born, 4 of the 9 piglets had significant changes to their hearts and other organs, giving them key human characteristics. I watched now as Dr. Bryce carefully said this speech. He'd obviously given it before, and it was word perfect, set in layman's terms, spoken without any hesitation at all. No stumbling, no mumbling, just facts, enthusiastically and confidently told, though. An informative, precise, very detailed speech. I wonder what Dr. Bryce felt about me or anyone else who might be possible candidate for this pig heart transplant. What was in it for the doctor, I felt? He continued. The results were very encouraging, so we continued our experiments with a lot more pigs. We're now on our 4th generation of pigs with organs that are pretty much an exact match for humans. What we're trying to do is grow pigs whose organs contain human DNA, so that when the organs are used in human transplants, they're not rejected, the doctor continued. Why pigs? Why not chimps, monkeys, dogs, cats, cows, or something else? I asked. Now, Cam, I'm sure Dr. Bryce didn't come here so you could play him with loads of questions, Dad admonished. Actually, I did, Dr. Bryce smiled. Cameron has absolutely every right to ask me any questions he likes, and to be honest, I'd be a bit wary if he didn't. So, why pigs? I repeated. I knew my tone was now terse, but I wasn't in the mood to beat around the bush anymore. It was a very difficult question to answer, that is. Well, chimps and other primates would be much better, particularly in xenotransplantation. In fact, there's only about 2% difference of genetic engineering compared to humans. They're closer to humans on the evolutionary scale. However, that's the problem. I frowned. I don't get it. Chimps and gorillas and orangutans, they're more like humans than any other creatures on Earth. Why are you using pigs? I really hoped the doctor wasn't going to talk any more medical gobbledygook. I was getting hard enough at the time trying to keep up with him as it was. My lab and the most research projects are involved in these type of areas rely heavily on funding. We only get funding if I can persuade really large organisations or extremely wealthy individuals to part with their money. Now, of course, they won't part with their money if we use chimps, monkeys, baboons, because of all the bad publicity we get. They're too closely related to humans, and that's one reason. Plus, other types of primates are endangered now, so using them is totally out of the question. Most people would find it totally unacceptable. But pigs, on the other hand, the doctor smiled dryly. Pigs, they're not an endangered species at all. Their organs are very close to humans in size, and they're already bred for food. We thought it would make sense to use them in our line of research. And do they work then? I mean, the pigs transplanted into humans, do they work? The doctor went momentarily silent. We've never done one before. We've transplanted pig hearts into a number of chimps and baboons over the years, but never a human. And what happened to those chimps and baboons? I asked. After a while, they all died, Dr. Bryce replied, without even any hesitation. But we've improved our techniques and developed a new anti-rejection medication since then. And last year, we transplanted the heart of a pig into the chimp. And that chimp is still alive. So you want to use my son as a human guinea pig? Is that it? Mum's voice cracked like a whip. And there was that word again. Suddenly, everywhere I turned, there was that word. Pig. Not at all, Mrs. Kelsey, Dr. Bryce insisted. I wouldn't be here if I wasn't confident that the procedure stood every chance of success. How can you be so sure? Mum persisted. Well, it's not guaranteed, Dr. Bryce replied. I can't say that I'm 100% certain of success. But you can't say that about anything, can you? Dad interjected quickly. He gave Mum a warning look. Her lips pursed in an angry mutiny, just for a moment, but she didn't say any more. I'm hoping that this transplant procedure will become the norm, as common as having your appendix out or having your wisdom teeth removed. But to begin with, we have to move very slowly and carefully. You see, if we rush in now, we could set people against us rather than for us, said the doctor. Dr. Bryce, how many people do you have in mind for this first operation? I asked. Well, I've narrowed it down to 2 likely candidates. I'm considering you and a woman who's in her 20s. Why are you considering the woman? I asked. Well, she's strong. She's an artist who lives with her husband and her son, so she has an awful lot to live for. And why are you considering me? I asked again. Well, you're young, strong, and I feel you'd derive enormous benefit from a transplant if we were to go ahead. Because you'd have your whole life ahead of you if we could succeed. And as I don't have much to live for anyway, neither you or I have anything to lose, I suppose, I supplied. Cam, Mum and Dad spoke in unison at that point. For once they were in complete accord. Cam, don't say that. Cam, it's not true. They fell over themselves, trying to deny the words that just came out of my mouth. I wish for once, just once, someone somewhere would tell me the truth, I said. I know the truth already. Don't you understand that? I'd just like to hear it from someone else for a change. My words echoed in stunned silence across the room. First the tears, and now this outburst. Where was all this coming from? You're right, Cameron, of course. Dr. Bryce was the first to speak and break the silence. The transplant does carry its own risks. Every operation does. But it's a question of carefully weighing up the advantages and disadvantages and seeing which side comes out ahead. And in my case, I asked, in your case, I think you have everything to gain. And the only thing I stand is to lose my life, I said quietly. But I promise I'll do my very best to make sure that doesn't happen, Cameron. But as you said earlier, you can't guarantee it. No, Dr. Bryce agreed after a short pause. Cam, I really think... No, Dad, I interrupted. It's my body, my heart, so I have the right to ask questions and say how I feel. What has got into you today? Dad asked, bewildered. I was wondering that myself, Mum added. You see, I've realised something today, I said. I'm running out of time. Every breath I take is a countdown. So I haven't got time to pretend now to feel happy when I'm not. I haven't got time to keep quiet when all I want to do is shout at the top of my lungs. And I haven't got time for any more lies. My God! Mum breathed the words out stunned. Cameron, we don't lie to you. We never have, Dad agreed. You don't tell me the whole truth, though, do you? You leave things out. It adds up to the same thing in my boat. I knew my mum was hurt and upset, and so was my dad, but I was too tired now to search for the right words or water them down. Provocation and skirting under truth took strength, patience, and stamina, and I was running out of all of them. Do you have any more questions for me, Cameron? Dr. Bryce asked. Any more questions? Just 1,000,001,000, that was all. One came out. Are you going to operate on this woman or me then? I asked. Well, that's what I'm here to assess, Dr. Bryce said. I now looked at Mum and Dad, and then back to Dr. Bryce. Well, that's the end of it then, isn't it? I sighed inwardly. I need to know how you feel about the possibility of undergoing this transplant operation now. I started with surprise. Was Dr. Bryce really still considering me, after all the questions and all the snapping and the bad atmosphere so evident in this room? It would appear so. It's entirely up to you, Cameron, he repeated. Your parents may sign the consent forms. I can set everything up, but it's your decision, Dr. Bryce smiled. This was it then. This was the moment I'd been anticipating and dreading at the same time. But as my nan always said, it was time to tinkle or get off the potty. While Cameron's thinking about it, though, you two, Mr. and Mrs. Kelsey, how do you feel about it? Oh, I have every confidence in you, Doctor, Dad gushed. I want whatever Cameron wants, Mum replied quietly. And although Mum's answer was very diplomatic, it was crystal clear to see how she still felt. She continued, I just feel it's a Pandora's box that you're trying to open here. I wonder if you've really thought about the implications about what you're going to do. At my blank look, Mum explained. You see, dear, Pandora was given a box, and she was told not to open it. But curiosity got the better of her, and she did. And in that box it contained all of the world's evils, things like spite and hatred and intolerance. Ah, but remember, it also contained hope, said Dr. Bryce. And that's what I think our research team will give the world with our new methods. Hope. How many genetically engineered pigs have you got altogether then? I asked. We have about 100, but only 20 are suitable for human donation. Do you know which pig you're going to use for the transplant? Dr. Bryce nodded. We do have 2 pigs who are particularly suitable. Their names are Paul and Trudy. But I think we're going to use Trudy. She's very special. I think she's our best bet. And once the first transplant is a success, there'll be nothing to stop us from doing more. But Cameron, you have to decide whether or not you want to be the very first one to undergo this operation. There it was again, that word first. First. I'd rather be second or third or fourth. That way, any mistakes they made on the first operation could be put right for the next ones. But I didn't have time to let myself slip further down the queue. It was first go or nothing for me. I think yes. I'd like to be considered for the transplant, I decided. I'll go make some tea. Mum left the room abruptly. I looked at my dad, who now was looking down at the carpet. Dr. Bryce, I'd very much like the transplant, very much, please. It's quite simple, really. I want to live. Okay, that was chapter 4 of Pig Heart Boy. Mrs. Davis will be reading chapter 5 next week. Take care.